Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 45.
45.
That means we're 7 away from one year anniversary.
1 year.
We're at
Lost
70
Boyz.
subscribers. Just need 30 more. So that's just what, 5 a week? 5 subscribers a week? If my math is horrendous.
I have
Actually,
no idea.
I think it's 6 a week. That's
What are we,
why.
7 weeks away.
Yeah, 7 weeks away.
So, yeah, just
You get the gist.
Yeah.
With that being said, make sure to subscribe. Share this with friends, family, everyone who you think can benefit from it. Comment down below for the algorithm, like, all that good stuff, because we're trying to hit 100 for the 1 year anniversary. So please help us get there. Come on. To our loyal watchers, thank you. We appreciate you. With that being said, today's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of some YouTube creators. I would say creators in general, because they're on multiple platforms, but just certain creators that have impacted, I would say, my life.
Mine as well.
And I think they're more of a net positive than a net negative to the world. One of those being the one and only most controversial of all, Fresh&Fit. So I hope somebody comments, because I like to have dialogue. I know somebody's going to say something like, oh my goodness, how the hell do you like that podcast?
Yeah.
I've had an encounter where somebody called me a misogynist solely for following them on Instagram and agreeing with some of their ideologies, which is, to me, is insane. But yeah, I for me personally, I see the importance of them, because I see most people only see the late night show. Yeah. The after hours, which is like when they're on the panel with all the girls and everything, which is very entertaining.
And they usually hear sound bites from that.
Yeah, they also and clips. But what I'll say that for me has impacted me the most from their podcast is their Money Mondays. Yeah. To me, that's my favorite segment, and it like gets the least attention, which pisses me off because I don't want them to stop it. But for me, Money Mondays to me are the best ones, just because of the amount of value that's in there that people are just like sleeping on. I don't know about for you, like, how do you feel about their segments? Like, what has impacted you?
So, similarly for me, it's I watch Fresh&Fit for their Money Talk Mondays. I used to watch the late nights. It got kind of redundant for me, but absolutely each like segment of the show like has its own purpose. For me personally, Money Talk Mondays are the most valuable. Like when they're talking about credit, or they're talking about like businesses to open, or talking about how to protect yourself and fucking taxes and things like that.
Real estate, cars, all that stuff.
All that to me is my favorite form of Fresh&Fit to watch. They have Womanizer Wednesdays, which is dope too, which is just basically topics around women, just without the females on the panel. And then the late night show, which is with the women on the panel.
Yeah, which is what they got most famous for.
Yeah.
I would say for me, though, the reason why I feel like they're more of a net positive to the world than a net negative is for those things, because of the value they're providing, right? So, for example, the Money Mondays, the amount of free game they've put on there is insane. There's free game that they've put on there. There's people they've brought on that because of them and me seeing them, I've then got into that thing. And now that's something I'm actually doing right now. Yeah. You know, I'm not there yet where I'm like killing it in the game, but I'm at the starting point. And I've taken the steps where I started the race now, which means at some point I'm going to start picking up traction, getting up steam and everything. But I got it from them. So to me, it's a net positive because it impacted my life in a positive way. It made me get off my ass and do something for once, you know? The whole time I've always used to think, oh, no, I'm doing something. But I wasn't doing anything. Or if I was half-assing it. But seeing how their approach to helping men works for me, right? Because some men are sensitive. They're sensitive to the approach of how they're told, what they're told. And they want to be told it nicely or coddled or whatever. I'm not that kind of person. I want to be told the dark truth. Tell me I'm a fucking fuck up, loser, ugly piece of shit. I need to get my shit together. All these things, because I'm not gonna get offended. If I get angry at the fact that they're telling me that, it's because there's some type of truth to it. That means it's true. And if it's making me angry, it's because there's a truth. And if there's a truth, that means I need to do better as a man and I need to perform. Most people, I would say, don't think that way. They get angry because they get offended and then their natural knee-jerk reaction is to say something back to them.
Mm-hmm.
But no one ever questions why are you getting angry. And I think that's why I resonate with them, because they say it the way they call shit the way it is. There's no bullshit. It's yo, you're a fuck up. Get the fuck up and do something about it. And because of that, I've started to implement that into my life, as well as like in terms of dating. Right, I've listened to a lot of the things they've said. I've heard them out. Obviously, there's some things they go above and beyond. I think it's more for a show, for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've admitted it before. I could be wrong. But I think it's more for show and entertainment, right? That's how you bring in an audience and viewership, by creating controversy. You need polarizing audiences. That's how you become mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as what they've said, like in the dating world, there's a lot of things they've said that I've implemented into my life, that I've started to open my mind and see. And by implementing it into my life and putting it into practice, I've seen how much it was right and how much of it has worked, that it's also shifted my dating life and my mindset around it, where now my perspective is so completely different than it used to be. And I'm in a position where I have enough knowledge where I'm not going to get done dirty. Yeah. Or at least the likelihood of me getting done dirty is very low compared to how it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a net positive, right? I think 90% of the things they're saying too are like towards men, really. It's like, yo, like they're just exposing like, yo, look, this is how women are. This is how they operate. This is how a lot of them think. Not all, but the majority.
Mm-hmm.
This is not to hate women. This is not to be dickheads to women. This is not to be misogynist. This is just to understand it, accept it, and use it to your own playing field.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it gets misconstrued on videos and clips and stuff, where then people take it the wrong way. They call them misogynists, all those things. People might hate me now because I support them and I fuck with them. But it is what it is. I'm not going to hide an opinion because someone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I think they're a net positive. If you're a guy watching this, you've never heard of them, I think you should check them out. I would say check out their Money Mondays more than anything. Like, to me, that's the biggest one. You don't have to fuck with anything else they say. That's cool. But their Money Mondays are so valuable. And I think it's so, like, it's a hidden gem that people are sleeping on. I don't know how it's impacted you, but.
So their Money Talk Monday, the biggest thing it's done for me is really open my eyes to how important it is to have your financial straight, in the sense of like your credit needs to be on point and your job isn't going to get you there, right? And also in explaining things too, where like when they talk about like the car buying process and you realize, all right, there's different aspects to it and there's different ways you could go about it. Or even when they bring people in who do certain things that were side hustles and are now big businesses, and you can learn off of that. Like, my favorite thing that they talk about, though, is going to be the credit. Like, they do really good breakdowns of credit because both of them have really good fucking credit. The one guy, Fresh, buys a new car every day. And Fit, Myron, right, buys a new house every day. Like, but they're doing this because they have such good leverage with credit. And they, once a week, teach you how to improve your credit to get to that level. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, that's been the biggest takeaway. And just like getting more money focused, like a money mindset, where you start looking at like, all right, I don't really need that because like I don't need to put that on my credit, or I don't need to get that car because it's going to be X amount per month, but I could get this car and I could use that extra money to invest in like something else, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's mainly about the finances. And even though they're known for more of their dating thing, I think the two go hand in hand, like, as well. You need to have multiple aspects of yourself in check in the dating world. And one of those is your finances need to be in check. Mm-hmm. Your finances are a reflection of your habits, right? Or what you settle for. Because if you can't control your money, you're going to spend infinite money on pointless first dates, right?
Yeah.
Because characteristic of money is you need to be disciplined. You also need to be disciplined in the dating world. You need to be disciplined in your fitness and in your health too. Like, there's characteristics with the money that what's the word I'm looking for? That reach like all different facets of like life. And with me at least, Fresh and Fit has helped me more understand the importance of having these different facets of life in check.
Yeah. And
mainly finances.
yeah, and I agree with that. And that's perfect too, because like I'll be honest, like one of my downfalls right now, especially where I live and being so comfortable, which is why I want to get out of where I live, to be uncomfortable, is my downfall is the women. I hang out with girls too much, bro.
Yeah.
I'm be straight up. I go on way too many dates, and pointless dates sometimes, dates I shouldn't even be going on. And so when I come across creators like them and others that preach about, no, get your finances first, get on your purpose, grind, like achieve, be someone of competence 1st, and then you can do all the other bullshit, because that's always gonna be there. But you know, being young, having the energy, having the risk to be able to take, I have my parents to fall back on. If everything goes to shit and I go bankrupt,
Yep.
like they were the ones who put it into perspective for me that, okay, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm fucking around right now, and I'm only getting older. So what am I doing right now? So yeah, I would say like that whole aspect about them, I 100% agree with you as well. Like that's why I fuck with them, and that's why I think they're important. And there's other creators too that are important as well. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but there's a guy I've been watching recently. His name's Belmar. He's really dope too. He's not on the dating side, but he's on like the finance side. Like, yo, get your finances together, build something of yourself, create something for yourself. We also fuck with Alex Sedlak.
Yep.
His whole brand is create your reality, which I think is like perfect, like the perfect fucking punchline ever.
Yeah, such a great, like, for the 0.010% chance that Alex Sedlak sees this, genius fucking like branding and everything. But and even though it's branding, following him for so long, like this point, I think I've been following Alex Sedlak for like 3 years. I think that was one of the first TikTokers I ever followed.
Me too. Yeah.
So like, and you, like seeing somebody make such a jump in life like that is wild. But that goes to show you, and I'm gonna direct this at other men and other guys, or especially young guys and girls too. Even if you're watching this too, like this applies to you too. How much shit is actually in your control?
Yeah.
Like he says, create your reality because you really fucking can.
Exactly.
Like it's all, and it's only up to you to do so.
Yep. And that's why I fuck with the brand in general for that reason. Just create your reality is literally telling you what to do. That alone is literally telling you, yo, this shit doesn't happen by mistake. If you want it, you have to go create it. It's not just gonna happen. It's not gonna fall in your lap. And that's something I was a victim of before, where I used to think, oh, like success would just come to me. And then I started getting older and hearing people like that, like him and others talk. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck have I been doing? Like,
yeah.
And the thing is, like, it wasn't like no one's ever told me, yo, like success isn't gonna fall in your lap. It's just I was so naive to it.
Yep.
And then just getting older and then finally opening my mind up to then realize it is like hearing, okay, create your reality. The brand alone is literally giving you the guide of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go out and create your shit. Now, obviously, for me, the hardest part was like, okay, what the fuck do I create? How do I do it? All that. But then you just start investing yourself into it. You start doing research. You start learning. You start looking into things. Finding on YouTube, there's countless information.
Seeing how other people did.
Some people don't like courses, but I think paying for courses sometimes is beneficial. Not just any course. Obviously, somebody who's reputable, who you know, people can give good, solid reviews and attest to. And spending like, typically, I don't know. I haven't really done it, but I just don't think like if you spend $100 on or $300 $297, like they like to price it on a course, it's not gonna have the most value. You're probably gonna have to put bread down. But if I'm gonna get the value from it, and there's a chance that I can 10x what my investment was, and shit, why not do it? Like I said, I live with my parents right now. What's the worst that happens? I lose the money. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have children to take care of. I don't have all these. I have a little bit of bills, but nothing that's going to kill me. So what the fuck? Why not just throw it out there? Like, that's something else I've got from them too. Like Luke Belmar, especially. He talks about the perspective towards money. Like, you got to take money. You got to approach money not as like as an identity, but as a tool. And it's something that kind of just flows through you. Like, money comes and goes.
Yep.
And money, the same way it could come in, it could come right back out. And that's the way it should work. Money should flow through you. It shouldn't be you, right? Because if it's only you, then it's going to be difficult. But if you view it as like, okay, a tool, like it just comes in, I'm going to use this as a tool. This is my hammer to get the nail in. And the money's going to come in. I'm going to throw the money. That's the hammer. It's going to hit the nail in. It's going to circle back around. And it's a countless cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And as the cycle keeps going, you start stacking and stacking and stacking. And you start doing better and better and better because you lose that detachment from money. And Alex Sedlick says the same thing too. Like, money has to flow through you. It can't define you.
Yep.
And that's why I think these creators are so important, because they're literally speaking the truth. Like, there's so many people that hate on them, and having the perspective I have and having the perspective I had, I can see where they're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't understand it anymore, because I'm like, no, you're missing the bigger picture. Like, you're looking at what they're saying and you're thinking, oh, whatever. No, you're not listening to them though. You're not understanding them. It's not about what they're telling you at face value. It's about what the message behind everything is. And most people don't question things. They just accept it for what they are. They don't ask why. Okay, like I brought up before, like if somebody's telling me I'm this, and this, and it gets me angry, why the fuck am I getting angry? If it's not true, then why is it affecting me? If it wasn't true, I'd be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it must be true because it's bothering me. So obviously there's something deep down inside me that understands.
That gets it.
Yeah, it understands what it getting me angry and offending me, because it's pulling out my insecurities and putting it in daylight. And no one wants that. And I heard a quote actually recently from Justin Waller. I don't know if you know him, Jay Waller.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Valuetainment, and he said, everyone wants to think, when you're winning, everyone wants to think you're cheating. Everyone wants to think you're cheating when you're winning, and it breaks their heart when they find out that they're just being outclassed. And
very true.
Yeah, and like even that, right? I feel like most people, that goes over their head.
Yeah.
But like the whole premise behind that is basically saying you lack accountability. It's really what it comes down to.
You said a few things right there, and I don't think they're totally unrelated. The outclassed and thinking everybody's cheating thing ties so much into why everybody thinks that courses and these social media people are fucking scam artists, which some of them are. Probably majority of them are, not gonna lie. But you can't instantly see somebody who drives a fucking Audi R8 and be like, oh, daddy's money. Or see somebody who does well and think, oh, well, they're just like finessing or whatever it is like that. Because the reason why I think we carry that initial, and I say we as people, right? That initial need to feel like they didn't do it. Because for me personally, I right away think, how the fuck did he do it, right? As opposed
Which is the right approach.
Yeah, as opposed to like, he didn't do it. But I think everybody does this because it's hard to accept that somebody from a similar situation as you, or a similar background, or maybe a worse background or a worse situation, did better than you or got further than you. And that's where you need to take that self-accountability and that like, and just think like, damn, you know what? They did it. I can too, right? Not just, they didn't do it. It's too hard. They're just lying about it.
Yeah, they got lucky.
Like, until you change that mindset, that their bullshitting mindset, you will stay struggling, because in yourself, you don't believe what you're trying to do is possible.
Yeah. Real quick. Is the computer picking up the audio?
Yeah.
I don't see the blue over there. That's why.
Oh, I got to scroll down.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got shook. I was like, no, we just did all that talking and nothing recorded.
Hold on, let me write that down. Where are we at? 2056. Before I leave that in.
Yeah. But, so yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Like that to me is the best approach. I think it was, I heard that from Gary Vee a couple years ago, because, he was saying like, you know, the problem with people and why they lose so much is because of their perspective and their mindset, right? You see somebody pull up next to you in a red light. You see a young guy who pulls up in a nice car. You think, oh, that, like you said, daddy's money. Oh, you got lucky. Oh, he's probably doing something illegal. No one ever thinks to ask like, yo, how'd you get that? What'd you do to get that? I want the same thing. What can I do to get to where you're at? And most people don't do that. And that's why most people lose, because they don't have the courage or the balls. They hate because they're insecure,
Yep.
because they realize that they're being outclassed. That's literally what it comes down to. It's like, okay, I'm being outclassed right now. And that shit does not sit well with people. Like the quote says, it breaks their fucking heart.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them feel like shit. And there's people who can feel like shit and use that anger or whatever they're feeling, that energy, and put it into something positive to then create something positive. And then there's people who then want to hate or just dwell on their failures, and they don't get nowhere in life. It all comes down to mindset. And I know we touched on like Andrew Tate like 2 episodes ago, but that's also why I fuck with Andrew Tate, because everything that he says is about mindset. Is, yo, stop being a bitch, man the fuck up.
Yo,
that's it. It's plain and simple. That's pretty much all he's saying in a nutshell. Stop being a bitch, man the fuck up. That's it. That's it.
And everybody loses their shit.
Yeah. And that's why I think these creators are so important. And I've noticed now, like especially like end of 2022 and obviously early 2023, we're still in January, that these creators are, and this kind of content is now blowing up big time. Like it's like the new vlogging of like 2015 or 2014. Like this content is blowing up like crazy, because we first discovered it like 2021. Yeah, that's when we discovered most of these creators, the majority of them at least. And like even like PBD, like Patrick Bet David with his co-host Adam, and like Valuetainment, that whole thing, their whole thing is just like business, money, interviewing people of different businesses, getting different perspectives.
Excellence in that
aspect. It's just overall excellence in the financial aspect of life. There's other people where they're like fitness and dating and finance, like all three. Like if you could have health, your wealth, and then everything else after that, like then life is good, and like you can only get better from there. Yeah, you know, and it's just about taking yourself seriously and building yourself up. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night, and he I've heard the quote before, but he brought it up, and I think it resonates well with everything we're talking about right now. And it's hard times create hard men create soft times create soft men, and soft men create hard times, which then leads the cycle continues. And I think that's where we've been. I think there was the hard men that came about from hard times. They obviously put in the work, created a soft time where the men became soft, and now there's hard problems again because the men are too soft to solve it. And now the hard men are starting to come back out. And now we're starting to see them exposed more and be in the limelight more. And now they're starting to influence more and more people, because we need that right now in our society, or at least in America. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but the majority of the population is soft. And that's that. You can say whatever you want. You could get offended. If you're offended by me saying that, then you're probably soft yourself. Yeah. So that's something you need to work on. But I agree with that quote 1,000%. I think that's why their content is so big right now. I think that's why so many people, especially young men, are like gravitating towards the concept, because if no one agreed with it, shit wouldn't be popping. Yeah. So obviously there's some level of truth to it.
I think, and you mentioned this when we spoke about Andrew Tate, it's more so a lot of young guys specifically are agreeing with this and gravitating towards it because this is how majority of guys think and how majority of guys feel. Just where that's like curbed out of society now. Like, no, you're not allowed to think that way. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to feel like, yo, as a man, I should be the leader, right? I should make the final call. Like, you say that, it's like, well, women empowerment, right? So that instantly gets shut down, right? And it's not even, see, that's where I feel like it's so misunderstood. It's not even a sex versus sex thing.
Yeah, you said.
It's a man versus himself thing. Purely, it's get your money right, get your fitness right, build some thick skin, and go out and do something and make something of yourself in the world. And in doing that, don't let women walk over you. Yeah. Like, but everybody thinks that because you're pouring water into, I just hit the mic. Because you're pouring water into this mentality that you're taking the water out of a woman's cup. Like, no, that's just, to me, that's just insecurity talking. Like, yeah, it's more so just to be better for yourself.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the content gets misunderstood or misconstrued, maybe because of the approach of of how they're saying it sometimes. Because if I say something aggressively, most people are just going to focus on the fact that you said it aggressively, not what I actually said.
Yeah.
And even if they do, they're going to take it the wrong way. If you say it nicely, then they may be more receptive to it, but they still might not agree with it. So there really is no difference. But I think, especially like men more than anything, if you can't handle how somebody delivers something to you, then you need to work on yourself. Yeah. You need to man up, right? There's saying it with aggression and like threatening, like where it's disrespect and shit's gonna get hot, and then they're saying it in a way where they're just putting the truth on you because it's just love, and that they're genuinely giving you this advice because they genuinely mean it. This is just how they approach it, and you have to be able to understand that. And I think most people should play sports, most men especially, just because I learned that through sports, through baseball. Like I played club teams and all that stuff. So I experienced different coaches from like all different realms, right? I've had coaches that are super quiet. You make an error, they don't say a word. So like they won't even like get on. They know that you fucked up. Yeah. And they won't say nothing to you, and they'll just let you stay there in your head to see how you respond. There's coaches, you fuck up, they'll fucking make sure everyone in this town and 2 towns over can hear them yelling how and letting you know that you fucked up. Then there's other coaches that are more of a balance, right? There's all types of different personalities and how they approach it. They're also all come from different backgrounds, right? I've had coaches that played in the MLB. I've had coaches that played in the minors. I've had coaches that play in high school and college. And for the most part, high school, and then high school, right? They all have different approaches, different amounts of knowledge, different perspectives on the game, how it should be played, and all these things. But by going through that, you then start to learn different ideas, and you learn how to understand different approaches towards the game and how everything works. And you understand how to tolerate and accept when you fuck up, right? And that starts to create that grit in you, like, okay, sure, I don't need somebody to point it out, but having somebody point it out on top of me knowing fucking infuriates me. Okay, well, what the fuck? Let me do something to not fuck up next time then. It's still my fault. I'm not fucking up because the coach is yelling at me. The coach is yelling at me because I fucked up. So I'm in the wrong. So he's not wrong for yelling at me. And I'm pretty sure he's yelling at me not because he fucking hates my guts, but because he wants me to not fuck up. Yeah. Right? He wants to win. So I need to take accountability and become better. And that's where, we've had that whole episode about accountability. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Super important.
I would argue 98% of the population suffers from a disease called lack of accountability, and they don't know how to get rid of that shit for some reason. And I think if people could just accept accountability, whether good or bad, for their life would honestly become so much better.
That's why I say, one thing I mentioned in that accountability episode. Another thing I really fuck with is Jordan Peterson's mentality of everything is my fault. Mm-hmm. Even things you think aren't your fault. If you take accountability for them, you will make better decisions. Yep. Because now you know whatever outcome is on me. Yeah. I can't blame X, Y, and Z for this happening. Nah, it's on me. I got myself in this position. Only I can get myself out. Mm-hmm. Everything is your fault.
Yep. I had a conversation with a coworker yesterday morning about this because, we're just going to get a little political now, but right, there's politicians and people who have the same beliefs where they think, okay, these people are poor, they shouldn't be taxed as much as the rich. And then you have people on this side who think, why don't we just tax everyone equally? Yeah. And people on this side are like, no, that's fucked up because now you're making the poor poor. And these people, I agree with my personal belief. I usually don't put my politics out there because I don't really fucking care or pay attention to politics because a whole nother tangent, but I don't think they give a fuck about us. They don't. But I would be more happy with a general tax for all levels, because if this tax right here is fucking me up and making me more poor, all it's doing is telling me I'm a fucking fuck up. Mm-hmm. What the fuck am I doing with my life? I need to get my shit together and fucking change that. Yep. And then get up top. Because now I've worked my ass off. I've grinded. I put in countless hours. I did all the research. I did all the work. I did everything I needed to do to obtain this amount of money and for my work to come into fruition and to live a life I wanted to live, that now I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So why, now that I've gone through all that fucking hard work, dirt, everything, fucking ups and downs, everything, not even knowing what I was doing, if I'm going to make it, all this shit, I get to this point. Now I need to pay more money to you because these people are too lazy to get off their fucking ass and do something. The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's where the liberals are more on this side and the Republicans. This is where I'm more middle ground. There's some things I can agree and disagree with on both sides. I'm more on the Republican side with this because, dude, those people aren't rich because they woke up, snapped their finger, and became rich. Yeah. No, those people put in work. There's a reason why they call it greed, but there's a reason why they are the way they are. It's because they know what it takes to get there, and the majority of them did the work to get there. And even if it was daddy handed over the business, they still got to work, though. Yeah. It's just not a fucking... They're not lollygagging through the park. They got to maintain that shit. You still got to put in work. Like, the people all the way at the bottom that are angry that they're not fucking as rich as them or that they're not getting taxed enough, it's just a reflection of your own insecurity, is a reflection of your lack of accountability to say, hold on, they found a way to do it. I haven't. There's people who have been poor like me and who have made it. Why can't I do it then? Right? This tax is hurting my pockets. Mm-hmm. Well, then I need to step my fucking game up and become better. Pockets. Yeah. I want my pockets to be bigger, deeper, everything. I need to become better. And to some people that ruffles their feathers. They're like, no, it's not about that, though. You're not understanding. No, that's exactly what it is. You're fucking lazy. And you're relying on other people for your benefit because you don't want to get off your ass and do something. You're too comfortable. You're relying on whatever the government's giving you, right? And so be it. If that's what you want, then stay fucking poor. Mm-hmm. No one's telling you to not be poor.
Stay with the consequences.
I mean, yeah, no one's telling you to stay poor. Mm-hmm. You have a choice in this country, in America. They call it the American dream because everyone has an opportunity to become something, right? You may not be a multi-billionaire, but you can maybe eventually make $70K a year. You can maybe eventually make $100K a year, which coming from dirt is a big accomplishment, mm-hmm. right? You probably had to work your ass off to get there. So put in the fucking work. It's that simple. And all of that, to wrap it all back together, comes from lack of accountability. Yep. People who think that way lack accountability. Take accountability for your actions. If a flat tax for everybody bothers the fuck out of you because you think it's going to hurt your pockets more, then you're just fucking up. That's all. Yep. That's all you're telling yourself right now. All you're saying to yourself is, damn, I'm relying on the government too much. I'm lazy to get up off my ass and I'm fucking up because I'm a grown adult and I have complete control over my life. Yep. And everything that happens to me in my life, whether good or bad, is 1,000% my fault. And if this is bothering me and hurting my pockets, well, then it's 1,000% my fault. So I need to get up and become better. Plain and simple.
There is a price to success. And if you're not willing to pay the price, you can't hate on people who were willing to pay the price. And you can't hate on the consequences you live with. It's also the beautiful thing about this country too is you don't even have to aim to be a multi-billionaire, mm-hmm. right? Like you said, 70K, 50K. That might be steady ground for you. You might be happy as fuck with that. Cool. You can get there. But you still got to do what you need to do to get there. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to do anything to get there and you expect everything to just be handed to you, why are you deserving of a job that pays that much? Or
exactly,
why are you deserving of the freedom that comes with working hard enough to open up a business that mm-hmm. is successful?
Yeah. Your reward is dependent upon how big the problem is that you're solving, mm-hmm. right? If you work in a fast food chain and you're just serving fries and burgers and stuff, yeah, it takes work. But realistically, how many people can do that? Number one, how easily can that be replaced? Number mm-hmm. two, and how big of a problem does it really solve? Does everyone have to go to the fast food? Not really. So you're not gonna make $30 an hour with flipping burgers, mm-hmm. like at a fast food chain. I'm sorry, like thinking that they should.
It's crazy.
Now, they should be able to live a life. Okay, sure, maybe. But to say that, oh, they deserve $20 an hour or something. Fuck no. What the fuck? Anyone could do. I could do that shit myself. I could go open my grill and do that. Like, that's nothing impressive. Now, you fucking cure cancer, you cure a disease, that you cure AIDS or HIV, then yeah, you deserve billions of dollars for that, because you're solving a problem. You're putting an end to something that's killing civilization. Yeah, there's a real world issue to that, right? I thought you got it.
I was gonna use the example of Elon Musk, right? Richest man on the planet. You can hate on him if you want to. Look at the problems he's solving, right? Well, one of the first problems he solved was just transferring money, right? Something that would take fucking 3 weeks, right?
Yep.
Split second now, right? Cool. And on top of that, the whole environmental issue, right? Guess what? He proposed a solution with electric vehicles. Expanded that to solar panels. Now, you have all green like power generators. On top of that, solve the issue of waste from going to space, like these big ass fucking spaceships that would just become garbage and debris
Yeah.
are now reusable, right? And on top of that, working on like renewable energy or reusable energy, like these are a lot of problems. Neuralink, trying to solve blindness and seizures and things like that. Like, these are real world issues that are being solved, and you can tell that he's reaping the rewards from it.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. That's the whole premise of a capitalist society. The bigger the problem you could fix, the bigger the income is going to become or be. Damn, what was the quote? I just had it in my head and I lost it. But basically that's the whole premise of what I was trying to talk about. Like, go out there and solve problems, but not problems that anyone can just solve, right? An example would be like, I create a software. Let's say, I don't know, whatever software. I create a software. I created it. I helped develop it. Somebody else owns it, right? They're the owner of the company. But I created it. Okay, well, guess who's going to get paid tons of money now? Me. You know why? No one else knows how to do it. I did it.
Yep.
No one else knows how to maintain it. I did it. Now I have all the leverage. So now I'm in a position where I can negotiate and say, no, you're not going to pay me that. You're going to pay me this.
Yep.
And they're going to have to say yes, because you've put yourself in a position where you're irreplaceable. You're the only one that can do it, or one of the few that know how to do it. And on top of that, now because of that, you have leverage where you can demand the money, because if they lose you, they lose a big part of their business. And that's way too detrimental for them. Yep. And that's the whole point of learning high value skills or solving high value problems. And that's the easiest way to make more money, and obviously bringing more convenience to people's lives.
Improving people's lives is a massive one.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, look, that's pretty much all. I could rant forever. I don't want to go forever though. I want to go to the gym now. But
maybe we'll have to do a part 2.
Yeah, but look, I think if you never heard of these creators, if you've never watched any of their content, I would say start picking at it, start looking at some of it, bits of it, and just really listen to understand, not listening to hear. Understand what they're saying, what the general message behind it, what their concepts are, why they're saying what they're saying, what is the reason for it. If it triggers you, it affects you in a negative way, stop it, ask yourself and sit down and write down, why am I feeling this way? Is it a reflection of me? Because at the end of the day, life is not a window, it's a mirror, and you only see what you are putting out. And your input is going to be your output. And so if you're inputting a shitty lifestyle, you're going to get a shitty lifestyle in return. If you treat yourself like shit, other people will treat you like shit. If you walk around with no confidence, other people are going to not trust you or fuck with you because you have no confidence.
Yep.
Whatever you put out, you will receive. Your life is a reflection of the energy you're putting out. It's not a window. You don't look through. You're looking at yourself.
Yo. Bars. Yo. That has to be clipped up right there. Like, that was fire. You just went off right there.
I try. But yeah, I mean, I got nothing left to say. Any last thoughts for you?
Nah, I think what you just said is a good ending place.
But
maybe there'll be a part 2 in the future.
Maybe. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. If you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. Maybe you checked out their content, you want to come back, let us know. Yo, I fuck with it. Yo, I actually fucking hate these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just let us know. Let's have dialogue. I want to talk with you guys. I want to have deeper conversations, get to know you guys better, and just be able to understand different perspectives as well, right? Because at the end of the day, I could be wrong, and I'd rather be wrong because then I'm going to grow and learn from that.
Yep.
But I won't know unless you guys comment. So comment, like, share with friends and family, and please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers for the 1 year anniversary. We got 7 weeks left. So get us to that 100 subscribers. Peace.